My mother, Mildred Adell Phillips, was born in Melrose, a small town outside of Nacogdoches, on December 1st, 1922. That first name of Mildred, you could start a fight in a heartbeat. She hated it. So everybody called her Adell, and she said, no, it's Adell, I'm a country girl. When Mandy was born, Mandy named her Miss A, and it stuck. She was the daughter of Leslie Holt and Audie Holt of Melrose, just outside of Nacogdoches. Her father was a tremendous alcoholic, and her mother was a saint. She graduated from Nacogdoches High School and went to work. She met my dad, and they were very much in love, and he was about to be shipped across the pond to the war, and he refused to get married before he left because his younger brother was killed at Battle of the Bulge. And there she was waiting for him when he came back home. Daddy got on with the pipeline in Tomball, and we moved to Tomball. Then he got laid off, and we moved back to Nacogdoches. He got laid off, and we moved to Alvin. And we lived in the middle of the oil field. Mother was a meticulous housekeeper. Everything had to be so-so. The hardwood floors had to be waxed. You couldn't put up the Christmas tree till sweeping, mopping, and waxing. When she was in the 5th grade, a little 5-year-old playmate of hers asked her to go to church the coming Sunday. So she said she'd have to go ask her mother, and she came back and her mother said she could. Mother was baptized later, her mother, her uncle, and then me and my kids. You think you have to do great things to be a missionary, and you really don't. 5 years old, you can do it quite nicely. From 1957 to 1994, we went to the Pearland Church of Christ. Mother was very active in ladies' Bible class, and when somebody needed help, they'd get together and cook, and it was just a marvelous time. We never missed church. Never, never, never. When she moved down here, she said, I will never go back to Nacogdoches. And I said, why, Mom? And she said, I've had to leave everything I love in Nacogdoches. I left my husband, my house, my church family. She was a member of the North Street Church of Christ in Nacogdoches for more than 30 years. And she was currently a member of the Southeast Church of Christ. She had macular degeneration, but that never stopped her from reading her large print Amish books. She created exquisite cross-stitch pillows and wall hangings that she generously shared with family and friends. She and Daddy didn't go out much. That's the way they wanted it. Mother was an only child. So she came down here, she said, I haven't been out to eat in forever. So we would go eat Sundays after church, and then when her health wasn't letting her, I would call in an order and go pick it up. She was a magnificent woman. When my brother had mental health issues, she told me, Judy, we've done everything we know to do. And that's just how they were. They just World War II folks, and they took care of business. They were deeply in love. They went nowhere. They didn't want to go anywhere. She went to the beauty shop and church, and he read after he retired, and they only wanted one another. I grew up never hearing an argument, ever, never. I didn't know what that was. She quit working when she was ready to have me. She's always been at home. Before you leave for school, there was a good breakfast, and at night, oh my gosh. I told my dad one day, she's the best cooker ever. I mean, she could take nothing and make it into the most glorious meal. We were at band practice and Boy Scouts and all that. That was all Mother's realm. She raised Mandy, and she told me when I got pregnant with Matt, I could never love another child like I love Mandy. And she did. She was a hard worker, even though she did not work out in the community. She wasn't judgmental. You know, she'd hear our stories all the way through. The love of God was, whoa, very, very strong. The lady and man that bought the house across from Mother and Daddy, they had 3 children, and Mother would get them off the bus every evening and bring them over to her and Dad's house. The youngest was a girl, Claire. She was so little, Mother would read to her. And she flew in from Lubbock, where she's a lawyer, for the funeral. And the mother wrote me a note when Mom died that said, your mother was the most influential person in my life, and you remember that, she said. And if somebody can want to be like you, that is really good. I could tell her all my secrets, all my gossip. I could tell her everything. I have nobody to tell it to anymore. There's nobody to tell my special stuff to. I don't think I'd be a member of the church or know about the church or anything about God if it wasn't for the 5-year-old girl and Mom's mother allowing her to go to church. And that's a great gift to be left with. In Esther 4, it says, "And who knows but what you came to the kingdom for such time as this?" That was my mother. She was there to help lots of people.